Is your washer not draining after you run a cycle on it? This is Eric Parts Doctor, and today we're going to learn how to troubleshoot that problem on a Whirlpool washer. These instructions also apply to some other Whirlpool Corporation brands, including Maytag, Amana, and more. We won't cover the full repair instructions for each of the parts listed in this video, but we will have those linked down in the description below. The first thing to check would be the drain hose. Before starting, make sure that the washer is unplugged. The washer's drain hose connects to the back of the washer and moves dirty water from the washer to the house's plumbing. To check the drain hose, you can remove the drain hose from the washer and run water through it in the sink. If the drain hose is clogged or backed up, the washer will not be able to drain. Next, we'll run an ohms test on the drain pump, which is located on the bottom of the washer. Then, disconnect the electrical connector from the pump motor. Using a multimeter, turn to the ohm setting, touch one probe to each of the connectors on the drain pump. You should receive anywhere from 17.8 to 21.8 ohms. If your drain pump reads out of this range, it is most likely bad and may need to be replaced. Now we'll remove the drain pump to visually inspect it and the drain filter. If you need help removing the drain pump, you can check our other video in the description below on how to replace it. With the drain pump removed, you'll want to check the pump's impeller. You should be able to spin the impeller by hand, but it should not spin freely, and should have some resistance. Do a visual inspection to make sure that the impeller is not cracked or damaged. If it is, the drain pump will need to be replaced. Then, check the outlet hole on the tub where the drain pump fits. The water drains out of this hole, so make sure there is nothing blocking it, and nothing is stuck in the filter that sits above it. If you see anything stuck in this filter, you can check our filter video in the description on how to access and remove it. Next, we'll run an ohms test through the lower wiring harness to make sure that it is still functional. With the drain pump reinstalled on the washer and the power still disconnected, stand it back up and gain access to the control board. To gain access to the main control board, remove these three screws on the back of the washer. Using a flathead screwdriver, gently depress the hinge on the right side of the washer as you lift the lid. Then slide the lid to the right as you lift to remove it. Two clips hold the console assembly to the washer. Looking through the slot that the door sits in, depress one of them using a flathead screwdriver while lifting on the console to free that side. Then repeat the process with the other clip. Next, lift the console assembly and rotate the top forward, being careful as it is still connected by an electrical connector. Then, disconnect the encoder boards. On our model of washer, the drain pump wiring is located here on the J6 connector. The drain pump uses pin 3 and pin 6. This may differ depending on model of washer. Using a multimeter on the ohms setting, test these two wires. It should read between 17.8 and 21.8 ohms. If it does not, the lower wire harness should be replaced. If you run all of these tests and don't see any issues, the next test will be a live voltage test. Since we will be working with live electricity, use extreme caution when testing. To set up this live voltage test, first ensure the power is disconnected from the washer. To set this test up, you'll need to tilt the washer back and disconnect the drain pump's electrical connector. Next, insert one of the probes of the multimeter into each side of the electrical connector. When doing so, make sure that the metal multimeter probes do not touch together and are not touching any other surface. If they are touching and you turn on the washer, you will cause an electrical short. Next, carefully set the washer back down in a way that you can still see the multimeter, also ensuring that the probes do not fall out of the connector. It is important to set the washer back level to ensure that the washer runs correctly. Then, change the meter to the AC voltage setting. It is usually indicated with a V with a wavy line above it. Next, reconnect the power to the washer and run a spin and drain cycle. When the control board sends power to the drain pump, you'll see a change in the voltage reading on the multimeter. Our washer provided power to the drain pump around 1 minute and 15 seconds into the cycle. If the voltage does not change during the cycle, that means the washer is not sending power to the drain pump and the main control board is bad and needs to be replaced. Now that you got that problem figured out and your washer isn't draining all of your time, you can get back to doing the things that you love. This is Eric the Parts Doctor. Have a nice day.